control. Mirovic and Hopoate. Hopoate with the first shot, and Mirovic has been stunned in the opening seconds. He's been hurt. Early seconds, John Hopoate with 3 bruising right hands has affected the equilibrium of the current champion.
This is exactly what I thought that Hopoate would do. He's come out in the first round and really attacked Bob Mirovic, and he has done that, and he's stung Bob. Bob is now totally confused in a sense, because here's Hopoate doing what he's only capable of doing, which is attacking.
Bob Mirovic doing also what he does best, laying on his man, pulling his man down, roughing his man up.
Bob Mirovic
see there?
got an early taste of the power of John Hopoate. With 2 minutes remaining in this round, can Hopoate be calculated in his approach? Because he certainly has the respect of the current champion.
Well, this is incredible, and here is Hopoate using some of his football tactics, which is quite unusual, but I think he's going to accept the fact that we are talking about an inexperienced fighter who's fighting for a major title, and he's thrown the champion to the ground. Unreal. I mean, as I said, this is going to be exciting for the next 3 or 4 rounds.
Hopoate has really just got to stay composed, not get angry, not let the situation get the better of him.
He's got to box with a controlled aggression and a controlled mindset as he charges forward at Big Mirovic, 42 years of age, in his 51st professional bout, with 60-odd seconds remaining in this opening round. And now it is Hopoate on the back foot. Are we in for a treat of a heavyweight encounter here live around Australia?
Don't hold, John. Let it out, John. Break. Bob, let me referee it. Let me referee. John, don't hold. Come on, listen.
I think the referee's got to realise that Hopoate is not an experienced professional fighter, but he is in there to try and win a championship fight. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, I like Hopoate's action because he's doing something.
Good interjection from our referee, Brad Vocale. We need to quieten things down.
Brad Vocale never afraid to take control of the fight.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but I've got to tell you that the Australian fans are loving this, because this is an interesting fight. Here we have a footballer who's given his all, trying to win the title. And please believe me when I tell you this, they want to see more of this action.
Yeah, you bet. And it has been a good round for Hopoate. Those first 3 punches as the bad boy looks for the bolo over the top and allows Mirovic onto the front foot to score with a few shots.
Let's go.
It is late in the opening round. In fact, 10 seconds remain. Hopoate over the top again of that left shoulder. Pushes Mirovic into the ropes.
You see, Hopoate's very...
Remaining 2 minutes 45. Not far away though, John Hopoate.
I think you know what's so exciting to see a Hopoate fighting Bob Mirovic is that we've got some exciting people. Max Markson from Sydney has flown up especially for this fight because he thinks this is going to be a sensational fight, and I suppose he'd like to cash in on one of the winners. But you must understand, I mean, I think that Hopoate is sensational into this point of the fight.
I agree. Hopoate now ripping into the cage of Bob Mirovic. The left-hand ribs are the target zone. Brad Vocale once again separates the 2 men, and Hopoate on the back foot. And the way to defend is to attack, and they launch again into one another.
I truly believe that one punch will decide this fight, and the way Hopoate is throwing these punches, I mean, as you say, it could be it shows one side, it's not funny, but Big Bob, if the fight goes past, I think, 4 or 5 rounds, I think Hopoate will fade with strength. But at this moment, it's very exciting.
There is going to be a big question mark, Paul, over the endurance of John Hopoate.
Andy, I think Hopoate is going to fade a lot sooner than even 3 or 4 rounds, because Bob Mirovic's confident already, which tells me that there isn't the same sting in Hopoate's punches as that he had in exactly the last round, the first round.
You know what's so wonderful? You've been there many times. In the first 2 or 3 rounds count the most in a big professional fight.
That's right.
I think in this case, Big Bob, who weighs something like 14.5 kilograms heavier than Hopoate, it will tell.
Hopoate has been stung here.
Oh my God, he's been hurt.
Hopoate stung on the back foot and he retaliates. What about this from Bob Mirovic and John Hopoate?
Listen to me.
Looks like Hopoate has hurt his left arm. I'm not sure if he's hooked an elbow, but his left arm is not okay.
He was holding that left arm at the end of that exchange. Some big shots from both men as Mirovic marches forward. Hopoate straight down the line with a great right hand. What a second round this has been.
I truly think that the referee's taken too much personality in this fight, and he's really got to back off a little bit because he's physically involving himself. And I've got to tell you, Vocale's got to back off because it's not his fight, it's between the two lads. He's got to be more professional.
Mirovic, here we go, tagged again. Final seconds of round number 2, and John Hopoate again on the front foot and trying to cut down the defences of the current heavyweight champion. Brad Vocale getting too close there, and the referee took one on the chin. Champion.
Let's go.
Who took and must have taken some confidence out of his corner at the end of round number 2. They said, Hopa thought you'd be gone by now. You're not. You're standing in front of him. Let's make him pay. The two once again move into a grapple situation.
I just hope that this fight doesn't become a mess because sadly I think as Hopa fades in his strength and energy, I think it will become a wrestling match, and I hope it doesn't. This is where Vocale will have to step in as a referee and start breaking on, because one thing we do not need is a messy heavyweight title fight.
You know what's interesting? In all of Bob Mirovic's career, I've only seen one man knock him out cold, and that is a very talented fighter from New Zealand.
Get him free.
In Shane Cameron.
In Shane Cameron.
Yeah.
Big hitter, and he was setting up that left hook for about 3 rounds. All I see now is Hopoate starting to whinge.
1 point for illegal use of the head.
Losing a point.
1 point for illegal use of the head.
Illegal use of the head.
Now this is totally out of order. I think Vocale has stepped out of line here.
You can win the fight. You can win it sensibly. You got to win it. You want to win it alone. Don't foul your opponent. They're the rules. All right, listen to me. You understand? All right, let's go. I'll start. You won't let me referee. Let me do the job. Bobby,
John Hopoate with a point off.
Holding too much. Let's keep it nice and clean. If you're going to continue to hold, I'm going to ping you. All right? Let's go. Let's go.
We are into round number 3. 10 rounds the journey. Most don't expect us to go to the scorecards at the end of this one. John Hopoate with a point deducted in round number 3 for illegal use of the head. Again, they whack away. There's about 230 kilograms of prime Aussie beef in centre ring. No excuses. Hopoate gets to his feet. It appeared it was the left hand. Oh, Mirovic walks into a huge right hand.
That's what we call a steam train.
And that steam train came all the way from Manly, New South Wales.
I'm telling you. Let's go.
Some huge bombs have been thrown by both men in this opening 9 minutes. How much more have they got?
Let him out. Let him out. Keep your hands free.
Hopoate over the top of Mirovic, and again, John Hopoate electing to be aggressive and fighting from the front foot, not giving his opponent, the taller and more experienced Mirovic, the opportunity to determine the pace and to determine the tempo.
I think the great thing about Hopoate is that he does listen to advice, and he realises he doesn't have the technique to beat Bob Mirovic, but he does have the power, and he's coming in here throwing hell for leather, and he's proving to the Australian public that he is worthy of a challenge.
And worthy he certainly is at this point in time, with former champions Joe Bugner, Dean Waters in the crowd, Nathan Briggs is here, Solomon Hamono in the crowd as well. Plenty of heavyweights lining.